Shabana is with us. How are you, Shabana?
Good morning. Yeah,
Morning, Shabana.
Very, very well, thanks. Hello, Dino. Yes, looking at the back pages today, all focused around Rory McIlroy at the Open. We were speaking about it yesterday, the amount of brilliant players they are there, but all the focus comes to Rory. You wonder if it is just a pressure he doesn't need, because he spoke yesterday after coming off the course about his aim just being making the cut. You know, we didn't think to expect Rory McIlroy to say stuff like that. Back page of the Times this morning, the headline is McIlroy's meltdown. The Sun going for Rory off the rails. One of his shots ended up landing on a railway track. Mirror going for Golden Brown. That's focus on Yorkshire lad Dan Brown. The world number 272 at the top of the leaderboard. That's outstanding. Rory horror show is the back page of the Daily Mail. And the Telegraph pull out this morning going for Rory goes off the rails. So more Open action underway. talkSPORT 2, 7 o'clock today. Natalie, a story going around we're keen to get your thoughts on. Back page of The Sun, an exclusive by Matt Hughes. Tony is cut price. Brentford are ready to slash their asking price for Ivan Toney to less than 50 million due to lack of interest. Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United have no plans to bid for the England star. Going back to the start of last season, and for the last while, the asking price has been offers of around 80 million. What do you think about that?
I mean, I genuinely don't think they were ever going to try and get 80 million for Ivan Toney. I think that was an excessive amount. I mean, I remember there was a time where they were suggesting 100 million, 80, 100 million, whatever it was. But I think that was just clearly to put off suitors, and that was it. I think, you know, if you look back to last season, and I think he only scored 4 goals in the Premier League. Yes, he had that ban. Got off to a great start when he resumed playing, but then tailed off. And I think he had moments in the Euros when he was given those chances. Obviously, we all remember the no-look penalty, which is just ridiculous in itself. But I think 50 million or around that mark, if he was to be sold for that figure, would be about right. He's only got 1 year left on his contract at Brentford. So I think that's not a bad bit of profit anyway if we were to sell him for that. So it doesn't. Well, I'm not worried about that.
Okay,
I'm not worried about
that. He's a good player, and I think he would make most teams better.
Well, I do think that as well. I think there's more. I say it all the time. I've said it many a time. There's more to his game than just goals, which I know is silly because he's a striker, so that's what you're buying him for. But you've seen what he can do. We've seen it in England when he's played for England. How he's so good at pressing. He's so good at defending in the sense of set pieces. He's one of the first to the ball when we're defending set pieces. That he brings his teammates into play. He loves his hold-up play as well. There's just a lot to like about his overall play, and I think technically he's actually got a lot better as well.
I wouldn't want to play against him. That's how I judge players. I look at him and think, would you like to play against him? I wouldn't like to play against Ivan Toney because he's stronger than you, and by the way, he puts the effort in. Yeah, he scores goals. You've seen him for England when he's better at holding the ball up than Harry Kane is. Yeah. So you got Mbomo with him as well. You're not going to like this. I'd sign both of them.
No, we're not doing that. You can take one player out. We're not having 2 out, Brentford, thank you.
Just one more on that, Nat. Danger if he doesn't leave this summer. Could it be a problem for Brentford and some of the fans, because he did make it sound like he wanted another move at some stage?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously then that leaves a bitter taste in your mouth as well, because he's going to leave on a free, and you never want that to happen. You'd want him to stay. If he doesn't get sold, you want him to stay and sign a new contract, but then we've already bought in his replacement, so we're already thinking of life without Ivan Toney anyway. A certain Igor Thiago, so the same initials, won't have to change the training kit, will they?
Has he missed the boat now? Because at one point, Man United and Arsenal were going to sign him, and then he didn't score for 10 games, did he?
Surely Arsenal go in for him. Surely. I mean, United have now got Xerxes. You would imagine that Arsenal would go all in for Ivan Toney.
Or, I mean, what is he, 28 now? The issue that he has, and 28 is it's not old, is it really? He's still got a few more years left to really become prime Ivan Toney, if you like. But there might be some teams who are thinking, let's see how he gets on this season, and then we can sign him on a free. Yeah. So it's in a way, it's Brentford who are going to want to push it if they want to make money out of him, certainly.
True. Back page of The Sun, you're one I want, because Leny Yoro has signed for Manchester United, the 18-year-old defender. Back page of The Times this morning, Charlotte Dunker writing, Greenwood leaves United as Yoro joins. Manchester United have completed the signing of French defender Leny Yoro for £52 million on a 5-year deal, as Mason Greenwood's £26.6 million transfer to Marseille was also confirmed. Already, Dan Ashworth, the job that's been done, is it the right noises for Manchester United going forward?
Well, it looks like they're going down a different route, where they're signing Casemiro, Eriksen, Varane, Cavani, players, Ronaldo, players who are coming to the end, who are class players. So it looks like they're going down this youth route and develop them, and they keep them for a while, sell them on. 18, playing in the Premier League, tough. Playing against people like Tony, they beat you up. If you're not experienced and you don't know, I always found when I played.
18-year-old Dino.
It's what?
6'3".
Yeah, but I always found when I played against youngsters, say I remember playing Spurs once. I was playing for Bradford. It was me and Dean Windass. We were both in our 30s, and Luke Young played centre half. He was only 18, and we just out-experienced him. Nudging him at the wrong time. He's fouling us non-stop because he's trying to get to the ball. We just knew what we were doing. So experienced players, when you put a young defender in the team, you target them. So we'll see how he gets on.
Which would make sense, obviously. And if they're not used to perhaps a more, and I don't know this as fact, but if they're not used to a more physical side of the game that you yourself could employ, or an Ivan Toney certainly would employ, then yeah, that will make it interesting.
Just a quick update on how the papers are covering Chelsea and Enzo Fernandez. The Sun, there's a piece by Andrew Dillon today. This will all ends in tears. Race hate storm rocks Todd Bowley. It's been a bit of a disaster in the dressing room just now. Also, Enzo Maresca recently had spoke of bringing the players back together. Now he has a right job on his hands following these celebrations. Also a good piece, Matt Law, inside the Telegraph today. Chelsea's first black player steps in to calm racism storm. Paul Canoville has reached out and wants to help calm this situation, the need for education, and the need to put things right. So that's how the papers are kind of looking at Chelsea this morning. I wonder if we will hear more from that in the coming days.
Yes, they've instigated their own internal investigation, haven't they? So we will find out more in due course. Shaban, for now, thank you very much.
Shaban.
She'll be back with us in a little while. That was a look at today's Back Pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
Backpage review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
All right, coming up next, we'll continue to look back on the Open yesterday as Rory McIlroy. Do you mind your headphones? You're knocking the microphone.
Sorry, I was just looking at... Someone's put this book in front of me, The Striker and the Clock.
Oh.
The Beautiful Game. What's that then? Whose is this?
I don't know. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
I do not know who wrote it. I don't know anything about it.
Look at that on the tube.
Speed read it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do it in the break. Just tell us what it's about.
Okay.
Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to look back on day one of the Open as Rory McIlroy struggled.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.